Grace and peace to all who do the will of our Father in heaven. So as I continue to work on the book that I said I was probably going to end up doing, and and by the way, this video doesn't have really a set topic. I'm just talking. uh, yeah, I originally, like I might have mentioned it before. I originally wasn't going to really follow through with making a book because it just seemed like such a daunting task, and it was like I'm not I'm not a writer, and I have my issues when it comes to grammar and just education overall. Like I said, I barely made it through high school. I don't even know how I graduated high school really when I look at the grades I was getting and how many days I wasn't even there. They clearly didn't care. They just I got out of there by the skin of my teeth. And then I'm, community college dropout. Got all the way up to I had one course that I needed just to get a associate degree, just a 2 year degree. And of course, I'm ashamed to admit that it took me years to get to that point because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. Uh, not doing work. I was wasting time, wasting my life. Then I eventually just quit and gave up when I only like one course left to an associate's degree. And it's been many years since then. And I can't bear to go back. I'm too ashamed to even. I would have to start almost afresh if I went back to try to get that 2 year degree now. And at this point, like I said, the shame and there's so much prevents me from doing all of that. So again, I wasn't really the type of person who would even consider writing a book. But when I finished my last videos on the Babylon Watch and Daylight Riders channel, um, the series, the Ultimate Gender War, mostly it's a 2 part series. I have a part 0 there as well. It's not really necessary, so it's just kind of like there. So it's mostly a 2 part series though. When I finished that, I was like, okay, that's it. I feel good. I can close things out right there. I still had in my mind, somewhere in the back of my mind, that I can't just leave it on YouTube. I have to put it somewhere else. So I'm like, okay, I'll write a book then. I'll put it in print. And again, I probably wouldn't have followed through with it except for the fact that when I thought about it, I was like, wait a minute, I can use all the notes and stuff and the scripts that I wrote for the Ultimate Gender War videos. There was more for the first one than there was for the second one. Unfortunately, I needed a lot more, so I had to go back and yeah. So when I actually redid the second one, that that kind of filled out more of my notes and more that I could actually put in the book. And when I look back at that, I was like, oh wow, the groundwork for the book has already been laid. And that's kind of what pushed me to say, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna write a book because once I realized that groundwork was already pretty much there, all I really have to do is kind of format it and fill it out with more information and sources and things like that. And so I will say, I think looking at it, I think I'm almost halfway, probably almost halfway, might be halfway, I don't know, through the rough draft, you know. And even though I have some talent with art, I'm not really a great artist, so I commissioned an artist to do a cover for me. And yeah, that's gonna cost me about 4 hundo, but uh that's not a bad price, I think, for especially for um the value that it'll give and having something that looks professional. I think that's worth it and a worthy investment. I think, even though my money is kind of my money's real suspect right now, especially because I missed that whole week of work when I was sick. Yeah, I went to work for 1 day out of that week, so my check was looking real shady. Um, but again, I get through it, and so yeah, I will say that I think I will say this isn't one of those situations where I say I'm going to do something, then I never follow through with it. I think I can actually do this. Editing is going to be an issue because, like I said, I'm not a writer, so I'm going to have some I'm going to need an editor, um, somebody who's professional who can actually put things, fix the grammar, fix the structure of my sentences and all my the way I cite sources. And yeah, and I took all the books off of my bookshelf, and one by one I'm going through these books, and I'm like, I don't care. Well, not all of them, but most of them. I'm like, I'm going to get something out of each and every one of these books because I bought them, so I'm going to get my value out of them one way or another. I'm going to get some value out of these books that I bought. So I'm going to make sure I cite something from every one of those books. And also, again, not everyone. I don't know why I keep saying everyone, but most of them. Because some of them aren't really related to this topic. They're kind of related to other topics. That reminds me, there's one more on the shelf that I forgot. I got to get that one off before I forget to. Hopefully I don't forget when I get home. And I kind of, yeah, all right, back to editing, yeah. And so, one fear that I have, though, is that I'm like, if I don't know, maybe I have to turn the draft over to somebody else and then they edit it. My fear, and maybe that's kind of unfounded, is that I won't be able to trust the editor. Whoever whoever I give the work to edit the book, I'm worried that I may somebody may be sympathetic toward the devil, basically, and try to edit the book in a sly way to take away from something that I said. And so I'm thinking, well, is there maybe I don't know. I don't really want to rely on technology when people need work, but would that be the best way to do it? Is there technology that I can use? Anyway, I'm rambling. And what else was I thinking? Um, oh, there was something else. I can't remember. Whatever. So, just before I wrap this video up, I know I've been talking about the I guess call them the truth community. I still don't know the name, and I really don't like these names, but I haven't had another experience lately where I was really disappointed because I'm not talking about the truth unedited thing or RSC, but it was just just random person on the internet, a small channel, another small channel, even fewer subscribers than me. I find these channels and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna listen to them. Maybe they have some things to say. So I listen to them and I subscribe, and then after I interact with them a little bit, I find out that it's just some real, I don't know how to say it. I pointed out Zen Garcia and Jonathan Kleck as teachers of Gnosticism before many times, and to find out that they follow these people, like especially like in this case it was Zen Garcia, who I had almost forgot about because I got focused on Jonathan Kleck for a while, but Zen Garcia kind of dropped off my radar again. But here we go, he's back in the forefront like this person follows Zen Garcia and buys their books, and I'm like, do you know those sources that he's citing from, that he's teaching from? You know, these are the doctrines of devils that we were warned about. I'm like, do you know that they call the God of the Old Testament our God Satan? You know that, right? Zen Garcia tries to sanitize it and tries to reinterpret what it says. Like, you can't reinterpret that. You cannot sanitize a doctrine of devils. It says what it says. It means what it says. It calls the Creator, Yahweh, YHWH, Satan. You can't flip that around and be like, oh no, that's Lucifer, and not no. They meant what they said. So, and, you know, you try to tell people this, and then they act like they're just on a higher, that God has put them on a higher pursuit of truth or whatever. I'm like, oh, you know, it's heartbreaking. It's disappointing. It's heartbreaking. It's sad. And it was really disappointing. It was a real gut punch this weekend. It was a real gut punch, because I'm like, people are so deceived and you can't tell them nothing, man. Anyway, I'm about to get back to work. So, yeah, it gets, I'm sorry. I have that feeling sometimes where I'm like, what is the point of even trying to tell the truth? It's crazy. Anyway, thanks for listening.